All right. Some people say they got a solo. You? What you singing? Oh yeah, they getting ready.
Well, go ahead. I'm back there.
Let's see if we don't got a light there. You have a light in that area?
We are the light.
Well, for some reason, we're not illuminated right now. No?
What y'all singing? Okay.
You should be able to, does your cell phone have a light?
Which one? Which song?
Yeah, well, you can turn it on.
Okay.
You
Well,
should
first
be
sing
able
this song, and then if you know the song, I don't know. If you know.
Is that gonna fill a battery fast?
Do you have a charger for it? What kind of phone is it?
iPhone.
Okay.
Because you could have plugged it in right here.
So like you
But you
okay,
can
man?
turn the light on while you're recording.
You should be able to.
Okay.
We are one in Aruba. We are one in Aya. In Aruba. We are one in Aya. And we pray that unity we are Israel by our love.
What else y'all singing?
So I got a solo.
Oh, I know what. Oh, y'all want to sing it with the radio? Okay, here we go. Come on, I know what y'all want to sing.
Intermission.
You want to sing this one? Where you going, Gavert? Come on. Come on, Gavert. Come on, Gavert.
Need that voice.
You got it, yo.
Yeah.
Hey, Javi.
You just sung a whole album.
Yeah, come on.
You know you want to sing it. Okay.
Put your hands on your face. You just sung a whole song.
Doing this love makes me happy. Serving this game makes me happy. I just wanna be free. It's so happy. Living this life makes me happy. I'ma look into the right which came. I don't wanna go down that road. I don't wanna be the devil disdain. Give me my heart, you got a whole thing. Doing this love makes me happy. Serving my king makes me happy. Everything is peace when I praise my God. Everything is peace when I do His love. Everything is peace when I praise my God. Everything is peace when I do His love. Doing His love makes me happy. Serving His God makes me happy. Lost makes me happy. Seeing my wife and my children makes me happy. All these prayer hearts run from sin. 'Cause when we obey, His glory extends. Doing His laws makes me happy. Serving my King makes me happy. I just wanna be free, so happy. Living this life makes me happy. Reading these precepts over and over it makes me happy. Reading these precepts over and over it makes me happy. Doing His laws makes me happy. Serving my King makes me happy. His Lord makes me happy. Seeing my wife and my children makes me happy. Yeah, it's my light, my salvation. Whom shall I fear? It's the strength of my life. Whom shall I be afraid of? Even when the wicked, even my enemies and my foes came up to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Yeah. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart should not fear. No war should rise against me, and this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of Yah, that will I seek. That will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of Yah all my days, all the days of my life. Yeah. Doing this love makes me happy. Serving His King makes me happy. I just want to be free, so happy. Living this life makes me happy. I'm looking to the right for His King. I don't wanna go down that profane. I don't wanna be no devil disdain. Giving you my heart, you got a whole thing. Doing this love makes me happy. Serving my King makes me happy.
Yeah, y'all sound good. Y'all ready? Y'all done? That's it? Y'all done?
Tell me what else.
Isn't this the one that y'all usually sing? This one? This your song y'all usually sing out here? You want me to sing this one? No, y'all don't sing this one? What is wrong with it? You don't act like that, never happened. All right. Well, hallelujah. Call Friday, say it to Philip. Hallelujah. What you want to do? Look at this. At the end.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
start off bringing us to another Shabbat, blessing us to see another day, waking up this morning. We Most High bless this Shabbat and bless this service and bless the words of the mouth that come, bless the words that come out the mouth of the teachers today. Please Most High continue to bless us in the works of our hands as we move throughout the weeks and the days, going to work and school. Please Most High forgive us for our sins and iniquities that we commit against you in your law, statutes, and commandments. Please Most High bless the food that we eat and allow it to be clean. Please Most High forgive us for sins that we commit knowingly and unknowingly in eating food if we don't know if it's clean or not. Please Most High continue to give us things that we need even when we don't ask for it, and have mercy on us. Sorry out for everything you done for us and given us. Hallelujah.
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 Amen.
Amen.
Come on, y'all have a seat. Not over there. Y'all can't come sit in the chair. Come sit in the chair. Yeah. Sit back there in the chair. With the other men.
Boker Tov Shalom.
Boker Tov Shalom.
Zaharai Shalom.
All right, so today I'm doing 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 1 through 37. And it's actually two stories that's going on in there. The first one is discussing an issue that occurred with a widow. And the second one was discussing a woman that was barren and her story. The prophet that was in the discussion was Elisha. As you all know, Elisha was a student of Elijah, the prophet. He actually begged him to to follow him, to learn from him, to gain instruction from him. So I'll start at verse 1.
What chapter?
Chapter 4 of 2 Kings. Now, thinking on this chapter, one thing that I been doing a lot lately is when I'm reading something in Scripture, I end up going to the prophets to see one of the accusations that Yah has against us, as well as looking in the law to talk about the rules and the regulations to dealing with any of the subject matter that they're explaining in the storyline. Because one of the things I realize and I see more often than not, our ancestors weren't keeping the law themselves. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. They weren't upholding their responsibilities. So to begin, a certain woman, the wife of one of the disciples of the prophets, cried out to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know how your servant revered Yahuwah. And now a creditor is coming to seize my 2 children as slaves." So we know it's valid that if they have a debt and they have a responsibility, that a Hebrew can be taken as a servant to work it off. We also know that the vow was made by her husband, and she can't cancel the vow, right? So she was stuck at a rock and a hard place. This wasn't a situation where they were hungry. The need would be met based on the law of how to get the grain, how to get the oil, and how to get any kind of food. This is a situation where now the creditor is coming to pay up, and she already lost her husband. So now she's about to lose her 2 children to somebody else. So verse 2, Elisha said to her, "What can I do for you? Tell me, what have you in this house?" She replied, "Your maidservant has nothing at all in this house except for a jug of oil." So the creditor's coming to get back what's owed to him. and she has nothing to pay this bill. So she thought. Now, so far, it's been in our interpretation that a prophet typically comes to deal with us because of our sins against the Lord. In many cases, it's supposed to be, if he has a word for us, he's supposed to speak to us. It just so happens that we've done so much wrong that most of the time he's talking to us and dealing with us through a prophet. He's dealing with us because we got aught with Yah, and not just because he's giving you a general command. But in this case, this lady's asking the prophet for assistance, and for someone that served him well and that loved Yah and could not meet the needs of his household. And now that he's dead, there's no way that things are going to be able to be taken care of, so they thought. So now the prophet's speaking to her. He says, "Go," he said, "and borrow vessels outside from all your neighbors, empty vessels, as many as you can. Then go in and shut the door behind you and your children, and pour oil into all those vessels, removing each one as it is filled." She went away and shut the door behind her and her children. They kept bringing vessels to her, and she kept pouring. So she had this small jar of oil, and she had all these jars gathered. Now we know that from our science and our thought processes, or the thought processes and the teachings they tell us today, is what you see is what you get. And what goes in comes out. So if all you have is a gallon of oil, all you're getting is a gallon of oil out, right? In this case, when she hearkened to the words of the prophet, and she poured into the oil into these jars, she was able to fill up a lot of jars with the substance that she had, what she thought wasn't enough to meet any needs. All right. She went. So going back to it, when the vessels were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another vessel." He answered her, "There are no more vessels," and the oil stopped. She came and told the man of Yahuwah, and he said, "Go and sell the oil and pay your debt, and you and your children can live off the rest." So basically, Yah judged the situation, and he deemed this a situation where he said, "I will promise that I'll never have any of my children begging bread." And these people trusted in the Lord with all their heart. They led not into their own understanding. They did exactly what they needed to do in making a requisition for help from the man of Yah. And as a result, not only were they able to pay off their debt, but they were able to have some left over. You know, that one of those things that helped me to understand is, after reading through it, is sometimes people judge your faith that in believing that something could happen, something out of nothing. Because technically, in the grand schemes of things, that little thing that she thought wasn't worth something was worth a lot. In that situation, Yah worked with it and was able to meet their needs and then some. So the next one is starting at verse 8 and it's going up to verse 37. Okay. One day, Elisha visited Shunem. Now, I was researching Shunem. Shunem is a place in Issachar. So this travels led him through the tribe of Issachar. A wealthy woman lived there, okay? And she urged him to have a meal. And whenever he passed by, he would stop there for a meal. Once she said to her husband, "I am sure it is a holy man of Yahuwah who comes this way regularly. Let us make a small enclosed upper chamber and place a bed, a table, a chair, and a lampstand there for him." When I thought about this and I read this, I was thinking, love thy neighbor as thyself. And every single time she saw him, she made sure she tended to him, made sure that he had food to eat, and now she's going a step further and make sure he has a place to rest. So let us make a small enclosed upper chamber and place a bed, a table, a chair, and a lampstand there for him, so that he can stop there whenever he comes to us. One day he came there, he retired to the upper chamber and laid down there. He said to his servant Gehazi, "Call that Shunammite woman." He called her, and she stood before him, and he said to him, "Tell her, you have gone to all this trouble for us. What can we do for you? Can we speak in your behalf to the king or to the army commander?" So he's thinking the reason why she's doing all this is she needs help because she's in distress regarding either an edict from the king or the soldiers who come around her all the time. But keep in mind, they said that she was wealthy, and it never mentioned anything along the lines of her being distraught. What then? She replied, "I live among my own people." So Gehazi says to her, "What then can be?" Elijah says to her, "What then can be done for her?" He asked. And then Gehazi says, "The fact is, she has no son, and her husband is old. Call her," he said. He called her, and she stood in the doorway. And Elijah said, "At this season next year, you will be embracing a son." She replied, "Please, my lord, man of Yahuwah, do not delude your maidservant." She made no requests. She didn't ask him for nothing. So for him to make this statement, it was almost like she felt like he was playing on her emotions. And that he didn't need to, because she was still going to do all the things that she was doing regardless of the fact that he said that he was going to do this. That's the key point. She was still honoring Yah, and he was still keeping she was still keeping the law, taking care of her family, taking care of her tribe that she was responsible to do. And that's one of the things that we have a responsibility to do that sometimes I think that is something that we don't look into enough, which is why I mentioned the prophets and the laws, like taking care of the fatherless, taking care of the stranger that comes into your land that doesn't keep your laws, that unfortunately some people rather call them, badmouth them and talk about what they believe and things like that, instead of recognizing the fact that this is your opportunity to show them who you are and what you are by the laws that you live. The cases against the orphans who has no father to go out and go make money to be able to take care of them, to be able to love them and to teach them the things that they do. So now they're left alone to try to figure out things themselves. The thing about a widow who has no husband to meet those needs at all these things was the cases that Yah had against us by several prophets and had rules and regulations to upkeep and uphold in the Torah. And all this is going through my mind as I'm reading this and I'm thinking about this. So the next verse says, "The woman conceived and bore a son at that same season the following year, as Elijah had assured her. The child grew up. One day he went out to his father among the reapers. Suddenly he cried out to his father, 'Oh, my head!' He said to a servant, 'Carry him to another.' He picked him up and brought him to his mother. And the child sat on her lap until noon, and he died." So she didn't ask for the child, but that was a dream for her. We know that it's common thought that it says, "Be fruitful and multiply." So the blessing is that you will have children. It's also written that in the Torah that he promised that not a one amongst us will be barren. So him fulfilling that need was showing her blessings, because obviously people were questioning it just like they questioned Hannah, and that Hannah's sister wife was questioning her about taunting her every single time she went to go pray because she had no children and she had the children. You know? So after all that is said and done, the child that she was blessed with dies. Okay? So she took him up and laid him on the bed of the man of Yahuwah and left him and closed the door. Then she called to her husband, "Please send me one of the servants and one of the she-asses so I can hurry to the man of Yahuwah and back." But he said, "Why are you going to him today? It is neither new moon nor Shabbat." She answered, "It's all right." She had the ass saddled and said to her servant, "Urge the beast on. See that I don't slow down unless I tell you." She went on until she came to the man of Yahuwah on Mount Carmel. When the man of Yahuwah saw her from afar, he said to his servant Gehazi, "There is that Shunammite woman. Go hurry to her and ask her, 'How are you? And how is your husband?'" This is one of those verses where I'm reminded that prophets don't know everything. They only know what Yah shows them, what Yah reveals them, and what Yah tells them. They're not all knowing. They're not all powerful. They're not God. So, I mean, you think about that and think about a lot of times we as men are flawed, we make mistakes, and we also miss out on things that are very much in front of us that we should receive, and sometimes it should humble us to be able to calm down, relax for a moment, and go before Yah to clean ourselves up so that we could be better at what we're doing. You know? But he's sending out Gehazi go approach him. He's not approaching her. He's sending out Gehazi go do it. So he says to Gehazi goes to her and says, "How are you? How are your husband?" "We are well," she replied. But when she came up to the man of Yahuwah on the mountain, she clasped his feet. Gehazi stepped forward to push her away. But the man of Yahuwah said, "Let her alone, for she is in bitter distress, and Yahuwah has hidden it from me and has not told me." So basically, she didn't want to deal with Gehazi. It was nothing against him, but this was the relationship that she had with Elisha, and she wanted to go forth towards Elisha with the issue because she already told Elisha, "Don't play with me. This is not a game. Don't mess with my head. Don't distress me on this." She said that to him. All right. So going back to those words again. She clasped his feet. Gehazi stepped forward to push her away, but the man of Yahuwah said, "Let her alone, for she is in bitter distress, and Yahuwah has hidden it from me and has not told me." Then she said, "Did I ask my Lord for a son? Didn't I say, 'Don't mislead me'?" She got the child, but he's dead. She didn't get to see him grow old, and to move on to his elder years. I mean, he did give her the child. But technically, without him still being alive, she lost that gift. So it was better not to give her at all. So he said to her, to Gehazi, "Tie up your skirts, take my staff in your hands, and go. If you meet anyone, do not greet them. And if anyone greets you, do not answer him." So one of the things that sometimes we talk about, and I'm going to run this home, is the garments that men wear and the clothes that men wear. Some things we talk about is we say that women shouldn't wear what men wear and men should not wear what women wear. Clearly, the type of garment that he had was designed and was appropriate specifically for a man, just like whatever they design for women is something that they design for women. That is seriously food for thought. We have the decisions and desire and thought processes that women can't wear certain things, but keep in mind, the garment that he just mentioned was a skirt. The next thing to keep in mind is he's telling him to tuck it in. He's telling him to put it into a way so that he could be able to move fast, so he could be able to run. So if your pants is right here, it's locking your legs. You can't go nowhere. In an emergency, you can't get nothing done. You see what I'm saying? You have to remember that sometimes you always have to be aware of your surroundings, but also part of the awareness of your surroundings is you have to be prepared to do whatever you have to do. So in a war, their skirts were designed so that they could be able to prepare to battle. But you transfer that to today, your clothes have to also be the same thing. You never know if you're walking down the street. Somebody can attack you on the street and you can't move your legs to even pose so that you can do what you got to do. In this case, right now, they got to get somewhere before sundown so that they can go, so he could do what he needs to get done. So when I was reading this, I thought about that.
Go ahead, bro.
Teach! Okay, so he said, tie up your skirts. Take my staff in your hand and go. If you meet anyone, do not greet him. And if anyone greets you, do not answer him. And place my staff on the face of the boy. But the boy's mother said, as Yahuwah liveth, and as you live, I will not leave you. So he arose and followed her. Basically, she said, that wasn't enough. As Yahuwah lives, I'm staying right where you are. Wherever you are, I'm going to stay. So Elisha was like, all right, I'll go. Gehazi had gone on before them, and he had placed the staff on the boy's face, but there was no sound or response. So basically, this woman was right in her thought processes of, I know this ain't going to be enough. This ain't going to be enough. I'm going to stay with you. All right? He turned back to meet him and told him the boy has not awakened. Elisha now comes into the house. And there was the boy laid dead on his couch, the place that he dwells, in his room. There's someone dead. So we already know the laws and the rules and the regulations of dealing with dead bodies and stuff like that. So he went in, shut the door behind the two of them, and prayed to Yahuwah. And then he mounted the bed. This is interesting that one word says couch and this verse says bed. And placed himself over the child. So now he's planking on top of the child. Mouth to mouth. Mouth on its mouth, his eyes on its eyes, and his hands on its hands. And he bent over it. Okay? This is a child we're talking about, and they're using terms like it and stuff like that. But
It's a dead body.
it's a dead body. And that's the thing. So the spirit's not inside the body anymore, it's just the flesh. And the body of the child became warm. He stepped down, walked once up and down the room, and then he mounted and bent over him. Thereupon the boy sneezed 7 times. It's almost like he's being jump-started. And the boy opened his eyes. Elisha called Gehazi and said, call the Shunammite woman. And he called her. When she came to him, he said, pick up your son. She came and fell at his feet and bowed low to the ground. Then she picked him up and her son and left. So immediately upon seeing this, not asking for the son, but knowing that it was always her heart's desire, she was hurt immediately and went to go to him to get him to do something, knowing that he was a man of Yah. She held him to his word and to his promise. But after he retrieved her son and made her son well again, she immediately paid him homage. Sometimes we don't do right as far as being able to be appreciative of what other people do for you and how other people take care of you. we tend to be a little bit too prideful, too much self-seeking, and too thoughtless and forgetful of and lack of understanding of the effort that it takes to get you what you have. And that's something that I myself need to fix. I think that that's something that we all need to do better on. That love in our hearts, that desire in our hearts to take care of each other, regardless of everything, having no want or no other desire but to meet needs, is the perspective that I got out of this. But I also got out of this is that Yah made sure that his prophet was able to hold his oath because of the fact that this was such a good and righteous woman. Even still, some could say, just looking at this, he didn't have to do anything else more. He gave her what he gave her, and he died of himself. You know, things happen. It is what it is. But Yah used this as an opportunity to be able to show once again he is who he is. And the most important perspective is that woman had faith.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
To Yah be the glory. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
To Yah be the praise. Say amen.
Hallelujah.
You fell asleep on your Horatio Robin, man.
I'm boring.
You know, if you look at this portion, it was an interesting portion because the prophet helped two types of women. He helped the broke woman that couldn't help him, and he helped the rich woman that didn't need help. Did you catch it? There was a whole wide range of people that he helped. If you look at the poor lady, my mother was not a prophet, but in my own life, I seen her make meals when there was no food in the house. You know, there's some God in that. I look at the refrigerator, I see one can of beans and like one potato, some random seasonings, and we all eat and have leftovers, man. Told I am for my mother, man. Another thing, if you look at this situation with the rich lady, she was helping him without any expectations. She didn't want anything, she didn't ask for anything, and when he offered her something, she was like, I'm good. I'm good. Relax. I didn't need anything from you. I'm just doing it because I think it's the right thing to do. Did you notice that? She wasn't expecting anything. So sometimes people only give when they expect something, but that's not the most pure form of giving, right? And sometimes people expect something without giving. And that's bad too. And all these things, we have to have a balance. If you look in the Hebrew, the lady, when she was leaving, and she said to her husband, she said, send me one of the young boys, because it was rich. Think about it. You're like, send me one of the young boys and the mules. So that's kind of like today, get a driver in the car, I got to go. And then if you look in the Hebrew, when he said, why you going there? It's not Shabbat or New Moon, which indicate that we also got together on New Moon. He said, why you going, man? It's not Shabbat or New Moon. She just replied, Shalom. That's what it said in Hebrew. They said it as well. She was like, Shalom. I'm out. Pew. Gekazi came to meet her. She was like, hey, what's up? Everything good with your husband? Everything good with your father? She said, Shalom. Pew. Zoomed all the way over there. Ignored everything that they said. Now, if you look at the portion where the prophet got into the room, y'all remember that part? Because the boy was what? He was dead. I heard some people say that he wasn't dead. That was CPR. Well, let me tell you, clinically, if you're doing CPR, the person's already dead because they're not breathing and they don't have a pulse. But if it was CPR, by the time she got the donkey, drove there and got him, got the prophet, drove all the way back, he was dead.
Technically
right?
dead after 1 minute.
Yeah, he was dead. I'm just saying all that to say not to limit the ability of the Most High God. Amen? He was dead. Okay, so now, when you look at what happened next, the prophet went into the room, and the prophet saw the staff still on him, saw the boy, wasn't moving, wasn't talking, wasn't breathing. And the prophet looked at this and probably thought, man, I might be in over my head on this one. This is a problem that there's almost no solution to. Y'all still with me? Yeah. What was the first thing that the prophet did when he found himself in that situation?
He prayed.
He prayed. That was the first thing he did. So if you ever catch yourself in a situation where you feel like you way over your head, y'all still with me? Where you got a problem where it seems like it's insurmountable, There's no way out of it. There's no way to reverse the situation that we find ourselves in. I would recommend that you all follow the path of the prophet, amen? And send that to the Most High God, because the Most High God has a way of fixing situations that we tend to think is impossible to fix. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now we're going to call my brother Prince Kaz to do the portion. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, we ain't got no honor in our family, man. This is just bad. We got a lot of work to do. It's all right, though. We're going to get it done. All the brothers, I gotta jump on y'all, man, because this is just going somewhere else with this. The sisters, he said, Prince Kaz, the sisters got up and said shalom, and the brothers sitting back chilling like they sleep, like they ain't in the flow, like they ain't got no honor. Y'all know how I get down. It's all about honor. And if we ain't got no honor, I ain't messing with you. It's just that simple. We ain't gonna get nowhere without it. So you can sit back and play with your fingers and roll in your eyes and be all cool and gangster look. But when that heat get up on you, who you think gonna be here to take your back and fight for you and willing to die for you? Huh? Brothers that you're supposed to honor, because that's what it's all about. But if you don't want to do it, that's all right. We just take care of the sisters. Because the sisters is on point. Everybody sleep? Because I don't play that. If y'all want to go to sleep, we can just go home. Shabbat could be over for y'all. And we can just go home. What's up? We gonna have service or what? Y'all come to learn something or what?
Okay.
Sisters, I ain't even talking to y'all. I'm talking to these grown brothers back here. 16 on up. Do y'all want to have Shabbat service today? Or y'all want to go home? Y'all sure? Because y'all ain't acting like y'all with it. Y'all act like y'all want to go to sleep. Oh, what's wrong with y'all brothers today?
About 50-50.
Hey, Shabbat. Shabbat's supposed to be a day of celebration.
Yes, sir.
It's supposed to be a day of enjoyment, excitement. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got a question I want to ask for one of the sisters. Come here, pretty girl. Come here. Just stand up where you at. Let me ask you a question. If you walking down the street and a young man happens to come up to you, he says, "Hey, pretty girl, how you doing?" He says, "What's your name?" What you gonna respond? Huh? He says, "You know what? I got a young brother that I want you to meet. I think that you might be good to him and make him a wife one day." What you gonna say? Huh? You gonna run? Okay. Thank you. I want to show you something because it's very important that we remember the ways of old and the paths and how our forefathers did things, because that makes us culturally rich. Stand up, please, young man. Got you. Not this young. Well, slow motion, man. If you see a young lady that you're interested in, how do you approach her? How would you approach her? She Israelite, sister. What would you say to her to try to get so? I mean, how would you approach her so you can possibly have the opportunity of be wifing her or courting her first?
Israelite.
Yeah, she is. She's thoroughly Hebrew, trenched, whole family by blood. What's up? How do you do it? You be like Shalom.
Yeah.
All right, sit down.
He
He out of order. Let me tell you why you out of order. Go ahead, tell me.
You gotta talk to the father.
There you go. Stand up and say
Get
it.
to this.
Stand up and it's too late. Go ahead.
You gotta talk to the father.
You got to talk to the Father. I want to take you through a journey, family. We're gonna get into this book. For those who don't know, we're going to be in Genesis, the 24th chapter. I pulled the two up for a reason, because I had to get a serious feel of the condition, a mind state that we're in today. We have fallen so far that now so many things that we're about to read about have become foreign to us. You get the head start on me out? Yeah. Thank you. They've become foreign to us. We just don't, we say we Hebrew. We say we worship the Most High. We say Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were our forefathers. But how would anybody know? because we don't resemble it. Yeah, we got our little fringes on our garments. So what? To identify a people, you identify a culture. Things that's handed down silently through the midst of their actions. And what we do, we act like everybody else. We approach our women. You want to say something? Go ahead, stand up and say what you want to say. Speak loud so we can hear you.
What if I don't know her father?
Then you don't know her. You send somebody to search out to find out who her parents
I
are.
was gonna get to that. I was gonna say shalom.
Right? And then what?
I was gonna hit it with. You know what I'm saying?
I can't hear you. You was going to say shalom.
Blah
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All right.
Then I was gonna get to it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. She should have did what she said she would do. Run. If a brother approach you, he talking about shalom, what's up, how you doing, shorty? Run! Don't even give him a... Let him know that you are a virtuous woman. Virtuous woman. Woman of honor. Woman who deserves to be respected by a young man. And you know how he respect her? He goes straight to her daddy. Straight to her daddy. And be like, hey, Prince, I see your daughter. I'm attracted to her. Or he would do another honorable thing and have his father approach her father. That's some serious stuff right there, boy. We ready to get into some stuff. Y'all know I'm all about honor, man. I don't try to rock no other way. Giving all praises and glory and honor to the Most High King of all creation. Asking that he will guide my mind, my spirit, my body, my language, my speech as I approach unto you, his people. May the Most High be praised.
Yeah.
We're gonna touch on some things, family. We're going to touch on some things because y'all know always, when we leave on the Shabbat day, we got to be increased in our understanding and our knowledge. Last night, the children was at my house a little early because, you know, we have dinner. Family dinner, all Goshen get together and we sit down and we break bread tonight on Friday night. One of the most beautiful things we do. I got to give it to you that way. It must never cease. One of the most beautifulest things we do is we come together as a family, and there's nobody like here, nobody up there, and we all here. And we break bread together, and we eat, and we relax, we chill, we talk, we go over scriptures. We busted up so good last night, the scriptures, it lasted 12 o'clock. I ain't stayed up to 12 o'clock on a Shabbat day, and I couldn't tell you how long. Other than being here, y'all be keeping me, I'll be falling asleep, y'all be still going. But it's wonderful. So when the children arrived early, I had about 10 children there was early. So we had a little discussion. And Nalia was there. We had a little discussion. And we talked about when a prince come in your room or in your midst, when an elder come in your room or in your midst, it's a certain way you're supposed to conduct yourself. And I can see that everybody wasn't present in this meeting did the opposite of what the ones who were present here in the meeting did. You want to tell us what you're supposed to do, sis? Tell anybody.
Stand up and bow.
And do what? And speak. But that bow is a form of speaking. It's showing honor. It's just a small gesture, you know. When I see the princesses of Israel in here in Goshen, I make sure I go out of my way to make sure I greet each and every one of them. Because they are queens. They are special. We owe them that honor. When I see Nasik, and let me tell you a little bit about Nasik. Before I get into the scripture, I want to share a little bit about this young man with y'all. I'm a man by own right. Nobody can tell me I'm not. If you look up the definition of a man, it's a picture of me standing like this. I'm a man. That's how I get down, right? A self-made man, which means nobody gave me nothing. My family was too poor to give me anything. So everything I got through the Most High's blessings, I got on my own through hard work, struggle, and intelligence. This man has made, through the Most High's blessings, give the Most High the praise, he has made all this possible, whether you understand it or not. He sacrificed of his own when he didn't have to. He didn't have to do the things. There's so many things going on here in Goshen that y'all have no idea on how it get done, who did it, why it was done. Y'all ain't got no idea. That a lot of times the reason you are able to eat at night is because of the Most High's blessings is provided to this man. And this man, yeah, I know you don't know. You ain't supposed to know. Because that's what true servants of the Most High do. We don't go around talking about what we do. We look back and look at the results and be like, may the Most High be praised. Because that's what it's about. But y'all don't give this man the honor and the respect that he deserves. We act like black folk. We Hebrew. We the cream of the crop. You understand? When your elders come in your midst, invisible things have taken place in your life to get you where you are today. And you don't know, you don't see. And I testify to you today that I'm here on Goshen today with a home and a family here because the blessings the Most High placed on that man. And people don't acknowledge that. We don't recognize that man he's not a normal man. But it's up for y'all to understand that. Y'all don't give it the props that it deserves. I'm not saying you worship this guy. He's flesh and blood. But you give him respect. You honor him. And we don't. This is why me and the family had that talk last night. You know, when the prince come in your midst, and it ain't just me. It ain't, because I ain't teaching you about what you do. If you don't give it to me, then that means I don't deserve it. I'm not going to fight with it. But if nobody ever teaches you how to be a man, how to be a woman, if it's not explained to you, you won't know. Because you're out in the streets and you're learning from the world. And the world is teaching you how to be ignorant, nasty, and selfish, and foolish. But I'm going to teach you the ways of the Almighty. So when a brother comes in your midst that has sacrifice, and you ain't even got to know the sacrifice. You just know he's a prince. You just know he's an elder. You just know she is an elder. You just know she is a princess or a queen. You just know that. So what you're supposed to do is honor them. Especially when they stand in the way of the Almighty. They're just leading you to the Creator. They won't say a whole lot of things you might not like is because your mind is polluted. It ain't as bad as ours was. Because at your age, we was out there doing it. And I mean hard. I'm thankful that y'all ain't doing it like we were doing it. Because we come up through the ranks making our own way, taking care of ourselves, providing for ourselves. It ain't no shame in my game, and I'm not a proud man. I'm not proud at all, believe me. They call me bougie, but I ain't proud. I'll accept that title, bougie. I'll accept that if that's what you want. But I just like nice things. Amen. I like things to be right. I like things to be worthy, excellent, beautiful. I like nice things. But at the same time, I have a spirit within me when I recognize when someone is worthy of respect. And a lot of us don't. We sit back like we the man, and you ain't did nothing, nigga. I mean, come on now, for real. What have you done? Just sit back and chill. Who he think he? I ain't getting up. I see him coming, but so what? I ain't got to do nothing. He ain't got to do nothing. Ain't no prince ever got to, no elder ever got to do nothing. The Most High will deal with you because you're just being disrespectful to his servants. We don't even realize that. The Most High fights this battle. That brother right there, yo, man, I ain't gonna look in your eye because I might start getting a little teary-eyed. I don't want to get that way. But brother, I thank you because I understand what you're doing. You didn't have to. People probably saying why he praising that brother on the Shabbat day because I'm giving my brother a blessing. The Most High says I have the ability to bless my brothers. And this is what this is all about. Acknowledgement, respect, and honor. It is due. So we have to learn to do it more often. Children, respect your parents because they are your parents. They make sacrifices that you would never know.
That's right.
To make sure you get to eat. Make sure you got decent clothes on. They do what they got to do to put a roof over your head. Your parents say they go to work. You don't know what your parents do when they leave the house. All you know is the bill getting paid.
That's right.
You don't know the sacrifices they're making to make sure that it happens. Y'all got to wake up. I ain't up here wasting time when I talk to y'all. I don't travel 700 and something miles just to sit here on the Shabbat day, say a little speech like everybody else, and then get up and go home and you haven't learned or changed your behavior. I walk in the door The Nashim got up. All the children that was present last night early on time, they all got up. And now you the bomb, baby girl. They all got up and they acknowledged Prince just walked in the room. That's the law. I'm not making it up. I'm not saying it for my own gratification. Because when we have visitors, they watch and see how y'all act and how y'all respond. And then that lets them know how we run in our house. You understand? They ain't got to say nothing to him or I or any of the Nashim. They ain't got to say nothing. They watch the children. If the children are out of order, if the children are disrespectful, then they know we ain't doing our job. We ain't educating y'all. Y'all just acting like what? Niggas. And y'all know we not niggas. By the long stretch, we not niggas. So we shouldn't have visitors coming to Goshen and they see our brothers, as the brother spoke earlier so eloquently, they see our brothers with our pants hanging down off of our butt, whether we got shorts on underneath or not. They shouldn't see our buttocks hanging out the top of nothing. We shouldn't be walking around in the middle of the street with slippers on or slides. We shouldn't be doing that because as the brother spoke so eloquently early, we have to be ready for warfare at the drop of a dime. We don't know what's going to happen. You think they happy because we're here? They not. They not. And it all starts with how we educate y'all. If we never say anything, Yakim will grow up being ghetto. He'll grow up, yo, what's up, champ? And you the prince. What's up, man? Yeah, all right, nigga. What? Pants hanging down to his butt, slides on his feet. I'm just chilling. I mean, this is real. If we don't stop and put the brakes on it at one place in your life and start to raise your understanding, raise your respect level and your intellect, if we don't do that, nobody else going to do it for you. They're going to come, they're going to laugh and say we a joke.
That's right.
We ain't no joke. Not the sacrifices that's been made to get y'all where y'all are today. So we're going to get on with the lesson, family. Whether you hear or forbear, you have heard. It's up to you to do now. All right? Thank you, HP. Genesis, the 24th chapter. Reader, let's begin, please. I ain't. You're putting brakes on me. You can't put brakes. When you let a beast go, you got to let a beast go. Shit. I do my best, man. Let's go, y'all.
Abraham was now old, advanced
You know
in
what?
years.
Can you sit here, please? Just so that you can be more in the mic, they can hear you a little bit better.
Okay. Abraham was now old, advanced in years.
Now, y'all with me, right? What's my motto? What we all about?
Honor.
Honor. Watch this. Read on.
And Yahuwah had blessed Abraham in all things.
The Most High had blessed him in all things. Why? Because he was, what's that word? Kavod, loyal, faithful. Trustworthiness to the Most High. You understand? Truthful to the Almighty. So in return, what did the Most High do? He blessed him. He provided for him. See, Abraham had to give something to the Creator. His loyalty, his honor, his trust, his truth. And what did the Most High give in return? Just like children, you are to give to your parents. You understand? And your parents, in return, give back unto you. Let's read on, please.
And Abraham said to the senior servant of his household.
Now, this man was the oldest servant in Abraham's house. And watch what happens. This was a grown man, though. He wasn't a child. He was a grown man. Watch the honor and respect that's played out here. Read on, please.
Who had charge of all that he owned.
Now, this man was a servant in Abraham's house, but yet he had command over everything that Abraham owned. So what does that mean? He was trusted. That trust wasn't given because you're my son. That trust wasn't given because you're my daughter. That trust was earned. You understand? It was earned. Read on, please.
Put your hand under my thigh.
What do you say? Now, if a man walk up to you right now that you trust, prince or a moray or somebody in a position of authority over you and says, I want you to make an oath to me. You say, well, what you want me to do? He said, put your hand under my thigh. What's the first thing you think? You see, I want to show y'all how far away from our culture we've gotten. It takes a lot for a man to take his hand and put it underneath of another man's thigh. It takes a lot. I'm serious. It takes a, you know why? Let me tell you why. 24, Genesis 24. You know why it takes so much? Because of pride and arrogance. We're prideful. We're very pride people. We don't humble ourselves. That's a humble move. That's a move of humility. But we men, we can't do that. Y'all think it's funny. Y'all think it's a thing like, there's something wrong with that. You know why? It's because we are so far removed from who we are as a people. Just like the last lesson I taught, it was about Moses greeting his father-in-law with a kiss. People shake and jump. These are the things that enriched us as a people. Let's let you know about honor. Honorable men get down like this. And the reason why you're laughing because there's no honor in you. But we're going to teach you how to develop that honor so it will grow within you and the world will see it through you that you are servants of the Almighty. Born and bred Hebrew by blood. You understand? We're not going to let you go till you get it. The sincerity in this oath required this man to swear to Abraham. So Abraham said, you want to make this oath with me? Then put your hand under my thigh. And he began to proceed with the oath. That bonded a covenant. That means this man put aside his arrogance. And he humbled himself. And he said, okay, what is it that you require of me? Read on, please.
Put your hand under my thigh, and I will make you swear by Yahuwah, the El of heaven and the El of earth.
I will make you swear by the Creator, the Elohim of heaven and the Elohim of all the earth. There's no question as to who he's talking about. Read on.
That you will not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but will go to the land of my birth and get a wife for my son Isaac.
Sound like a simple task, don't it? Read on, please.
And the servant said to him, what if the woman doesn't consent to follow me to this land?
You punch upside the head. You kick her in the back. You put her out. You take her life. You knock her out, you cuss her out and call her all kind of bees. Let me explain something to you, young men. And I'm talking to this world, not so much this world. Women have freedom of choice. And we have to understand and recognize that if you give a woman the opportunity to serve you, if she doesn't want to serve you, then she's not the one for you. It's just that simple. Let her go. If she doesn't want to serve you, give her her papers and let her be free. Never, ever try to force a woman to serve you, because you know what you get? You get deceit. You might get dead because she prepares your food. She could kill you. Or even worse, put some poison in your food that will make you sick in your legs or your brain, where you can't move, you can't think. Over the years, it happens slowly. They can do some evil things. It's best that if you got a woman that's not with it because she wants to be with it, you let her go. You always have to remember these lessons that you're learning on these Shabbat days, for as you progress into manhood, and sisters, as you progress into womanhood, these lessons will be fruitful for you. Abraham said, I don't want a woman for my son that's not going to obey him, that's not going to walk with him, that's not going to be an asset to his life. Because a woman has the ability to cause you to fall. If she's not with your program, she can destroy you. You understand? She can destroy, she can take you out. She can just get you sidetracked by getting on your nerves and having a nagging mouth. And your mind is not able to function properly, so ideals that will come to you, thoughts that will migrate in your mind won't be able to come in because another energy possesses you because you got an evil, rebellious, disrespectful woman. If it rises to that point, let them go. If you ever have to put your hands on your woman, let her go. You understand what I'm saying to you? You should never have to raise your hands to your woman. If you do, then that's letting you know it's time to do what?
Let her go.
And I'm not speaking these words because I want to speak them. And I'm not standing up here like if my slate is clean and I'm perfect. Because I've made those mistakes. But I've learned the lesson the hard way. Don't struggle with it, family. Let it go. Abraham said, you go to my father's house and you get one of the descendants out of my father's lineage. And if she doesn't want to come, do what?
Let her go.
Let her go. Not only let her go, but then you are relieved from the oath that you made with me. Read on, please.
Okay. Starting at the middle of verse 5. What if the woman does not consent to follow me to this land?
I'm sorry. If she doesn't consent to follow him, what are you supposed to do?
Let her go.
Let her go. I need to make sure y'all understand. So that y'all ain't trying to force a relationship. Read on, please.
Shall I then take your son back to the land from which you came?
Keep reading, please.
Abraham answered, on no account must you take my son back there.
Now, Abraham said, on no account shall you take my son back to the land that I came from. What does that mean? That means forward progression. So that means that a lot of you brothers and sisters that came out of Atlanta, you shouldn't go live back in Atlanta because it's like going in reverse. You're being elevated by coming here to Goshen. Living in a society and a culture that's free to a degree of the culture of New York per se, of Philadelphia per se, of Atlanta or Georgia or South Carolina. You're having the opportunity to build in a culture in which you can be enriched with Hebrew Israelite culture and not nigger attitude in the street culture. You follow me? How many of our young men have gotten shot down since we've been here? How many of Goshen young men have gotten beat up? You understand? These are the type of things you have to pay attention to, because when we was back in one of those states, your mind state, you wouldn't be getting straight A's in school. You understand? You wouldn't be learning these beautiful lessons that you're learning. You wouldn't learn how to do the things. You'll be thug. Chances are you would be, not guaranteed, but chances are you will be ghettofied. And you will be enriched with their culture. You're still holding a little bit of that culture in you every time you wear your pants down your waist and you walk out the house with them slides on. You're still holding on to a little bit of that culture. Let it go, because it's not for you. Let it go. Read on, please.
Verse 7. The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from my native land, who promised me on oath, saying, I will assign this land to your offspring. He will send his angel before you.
He didn't want his son to go back to his father's house or the land that he came from because they practiced idolatry. See, they didn't worship the creator of all creation as they should in vast numbers. They practiced idolatry. Here in Goshen, we don't allow idolatry. We worship the creator of all creation. So for you to go from Goshen, I promise you, family, and mark my words, every one of us that goes back to the cities to live, that's not on a mission, we're going to get consumed by evil. If you go back and you're on a mission, you got purpose, and you remain loyal to that purpose, then you got chance. But if you just go back because you're tired of this lifestyle, you're tired of the restrictions, you're tired of what we do, and you want to be free in the city because it's more fun, it's more to do, you're going backwards.
Remember that.
That's right. You're going backwards. You're walking away from opportunity. You're walking away from righteousness. You might not see it right now, but I promise you, mark my words, This is a fact. Read on, please. Oh, before you read, I gotta say something, y'all. I gotta. You see who we reading about right now? In 60, 70 years, in 100 years, they'll be reading about us. Those brothers, those sisters who started a community. Where we at? It's called Goshen. But we started this in the midst of a whole bunch of heathens. We grabbed a little portion of land and we sacrificed. We did something great. And Nasik said something the other day that was very profound to me. And I like to try to remember the way that he said it, but I know I ain't going to get it 100% right. He said something about people looking toward a kingdom of the Creator on earth. How do we know that this ain't the kingdom, the beginning of that kingdom right here in our land of captivity? That little small sanctuary that the Father said that he will be in the land of our captivity. How do we know that this is not it? And we are the predecessors. We are the progenitors. We are starting something great for others to follow in the years to come. How do we know that this is not it? If we maintain it in righteousness, and we pay close attention and stay away from the foolishness, it's a large possibility that this is it. And that 50, 60 years from now, they're reading about what we went through, the sacrifices we made. But yet, as he said, they're going to consider us to be righteous. They don't see all this. They don't see what we're doing, the everyday life, the mistakes. And all they get to see is what they read. And then they have to configure for their own mind, just like we see Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yisrael, and we think that they were so righteous and pious. Because we're not there. But all we see is the aspects of life that they were holy men and holy women. Where are you going to fit at in this prophecy, family? So what I'm trying to say to you, when they write this book about Goshen, what are they going to say about you? You got to live your life every day knowing that these books are being written. You have to question yourself where you're going to fit in on those scriptures when it's being written. What are they going to have to say about you? He was a young man, and when he was in class, he paid not attention. He thought it was more things in his cell phone that was more important. So he didn't pay attention. Or he sat back and fell asleep in class and didn't listen. They going to talk about you like that? Or they going to say that young man is a teenager? As a young man, he was faithful to the ways of the Most High like his father Abraham. He provided and he approached the young woman's family when he saw the woman that he wanted to wed. Are they going to speak about you like this? Or are they going to say he snuck out with the woman and committed all type of abominations and then got caught and got dealt with? Disrespectful things. How are they going to say? What are they going to say? What they going to do? What they going to write about you when that book is written? Because it's being written right now as we speak. Read on, please.
Okay. I will assign this land to you, your offspring. He will send his angel before you.
Now that's important. You got to watch this. Abraham told him, the messenger, to go get his son a wife. If she decides she doesn't want to come, that's okay, let her go. But the road is going to be prepared for you. Because the Most High is going to send his angel, his messenger, his malak, to go before you to make sure that you're successful. Do you think that's happening right here, family? Yes. The Most High is not going to let us fail. You know why? Because he has his angels standing guard, 2 right there, 2 right there, some over there. They're all lined up over here. They're in this room with us right now, family. But you can't see because you have not the eyes to understand. They are with us. Messengers, servants of the Almighty to protect us and lead us in the way. All we need to do is open up our consciousness to them and allow them to do their job that the Creator gave them. And we can't fail. When we let the adversarial spirits in, we're telling the Most High's angels to back off. And we do evil. We commit all kind of abominations. The Most High is not going to allow those abominations to last. So it's best you get in alignment with the Most High's plan. Or else He will deal with you. He may not be as merciful as we know Him to be when He deals with you. It depends on how evil or destructive you are. Listen, family. We have an advantage to everybody in Sparta, Hancock County, Macon. We got an advantage. We got the Most High on our side. You understand? So we have an advantage that they don't have. We have to utilize. There is nothing holding our hands that we cannot conquer and obtain. There's nothing that we cannot have. Nobody. I don't care what they say about us on social media. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is how you prepare yourself for this kingdom that the Most High is preparing you for. Now, if you don't want no parts of it, go out there and act stupid. Or stay here and act stupid. Either way, the Most High will deal with you. My recommendation is that you open up your spirit and let the Most High in. Stop being tough. Stop being gangster. Learn how to be humble. Learn humility. Learn the difference between pride and arrogance. Learn the difference between those things and make sure that you stay far from them. Learn what honor is all about. For these are the kingdom of the righteous. These are the keys of the righteous behavior. These are the things that will cause you to inherit the gifts of the Almighty. Why did the Most High cause Abraham to increase? Because he was faithful. Because he was loyal. Because he was honorable to the Most High King. He didn't just choose him and say, hey, just do it and do whatever you want and I'm going to just keep on blessing you. That ain't what he said. Read on, please. Let's see what's happening because we're trying to pick a wife right now. Read on.
And you will get a wife for my son from there.
One thing I wanted to talk about that I didn't mention. One thing we got to remember is men can serve other men in the Hebrew culture and acknowledge that they are servants and be proud that they are servants. You know why? Because they see the Creator in that man. I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying. I didn't say nothing about a man worshiping another man. But I said men can serve, be servants to other men. And be proud that they're their servants. And when they talk to the Most High, they talk to the Most High in reference to the God or the power of this man. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? I'm trying to take your mind somewhere. I'm trying to cause you to understand that humility is what's most important. But we be in our own minds, I'm a grown man. I ain't serving no other man. You got to be crazy. Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. If the Spirit of the Most High, you feel and you can tell, you ain't gonna see it and really understand it and really feel it, make that connection. What you got to do is watch the works. Watch how the Most High moves in this individual's life. Learn who this man prayed to, who he worshiped, who he honored. If you see that the Most High is with this individual, then you stick close. Come on, sis. We rocking. Stick close to that individual. And I mean it. Why do you think this man stayed with Abraham for so many years? You think it was most because Abraham had money? Because Abraham ready to load his pockets up with jewels. If it was for that purpose, he could have took them jewels and left. He could have left. He could have just flee and been cool the rest of his days. Thank you, Siri. He could have did that, but he didn't. Abraham gave this man bank, gold and rubies and diamonds, and said, hey, go get a wife for my son. That's how he trusts this man. Do you trust your friend like that today? That you would give your friend equivalent of $30,000, $40,000 right now and put us in his hands and say, go down to the store and buy that building for me. Do you trust him like that?
Depends on the friend.
Well, that's my whole point. That's my whole point. If you ain't got those kind of people around your circle, then you ain't got nobody and you shouldn't have nobody. Anybody you rocking with today, you have to have that kind of trust in them. that they fear the Creator just as much as you. But this grown man had no problem giving honor to Abraham or giving honor to the Creator. But watch how he speaks about Abraham when he does. But let's go on with the story. I'll get with that a little bit later. Read on, please. I only got about 15 more minutes, y'all.
23.
Brother, you see, he got me on a clock like I'm a slave. You see that? You see what he did to
Sent to follow you, you shall then be clear of this oath to me. But do not take my son back there.
Don't take my son back to the mind state of captivity. Don't take my son back to where they serve idols. Read on, please.
So the servant put his hand under the thigh of his master, Abraham, and swore to him as bidden. Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and set out, taking with him all the bounty of his master. And he made his way to Abraham.
One second, please. Hold that verse where you at, please. We got some more family coming in. Hold that verse where you at, please. Yo, you got to put like 5 minutes back on the clock. Yeah. Maybe about 15 more minutes. They take a long time.
What verse you on?
I'm on verse 9. Sorry, I'm on verse 10.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom. We're just trying to wait for the family to come in and get settled. And we're going to get right back to the show. Y'all remember what this is about, right?
Honor.
Okay. All right. Y'all on point? Family in the house? I see. That's wonderful, man. Sure. All right, that's a half hour right there. Yo, that's another half hour. Clock man, that's another half hour. Yeah, that's about a half hour. Y'all agree, right? That's about another half hour on the clock, right? 45 minutes? All right, 45 minutes. Children, can y'all all back up to the, just sit back with your back up against the chair. And we cool.
Everybody can sit on the chair, sit on the
Nah, they cool, man. I like this right here, man. This is how we did in the old school. We sat on the floor. I like this. Yeah. Now, don't let me trip over your feet, though, all right? All the little children up front. This is so lovely. They get the message before anybody else. Lovely. Y'all hear me, children? Yes. All right. Y'all ready to roll?
Yeah.
Let's go. Tell us where you are, please.
Verse 10,
Verse 10 of what? What chapter, what verse?
chapter 24 of Genesis.
Let's read on, please.
Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and set out, taking with him all the bounty of his master.
Did y'all
And
just hear what he said?
Take all the bounty in that.
He took a whole lot of stuff with him. He took 10 camels and a whole lot of other stuff. That's enough for him to start a life of his own. But what did he do? I said, he remained faithful. He remained loyal. You understand? Honorable. He remained that way. Now, how many friends you got in your life that you can place that type in their hands and they do what they said they were going to do?
Probably like 1.5.
If you ain't got them, you ain't got no friends or brothers. Let's read on, please. Hold on, let me get somewhere. Let me go somewhere right now. I'm going to just jump on this for a second, all right? Here in Goshen, right? We should have no problem giving up these things to each other. You know why? Because we trust each other. My house is locked up from you, brother. I'm going away. I'm going on a trip to Philadelphia, but you ain't got access to my house because I don't trust you. Is that what we do? Is it right? Yes or no? We don't trust each other. Abraham didn't have that problem. The brother said that Abraham gave him access to everything he owned. These are simple principles that we have to get in our character. It's going to make us culturally strong. Somebody should always have access to your home. Somebody that you trust. It ain't got to be everybody, but somebody should be able to get in. Somebody. Because if anything happens, anything, I got a son back in Philly. He got a wife and a bunch of children. So he take his wife and they go away. The alarm company calls me. If his alarm goes off, why does he have me down as an emergency contact? He trusts me. And he don't just trust me, he trusts that I fear the Creator. Not out of scariness, but out of love and loyalty. That's what fear is to me. Not about boo-hoo or hoo-hoo-hoo. That's not what fear is. Fear is not wanting to disappoint the Creator, not wanting to let him down. It will hurt you to your soul to let the Almighty down. These are the type of things that we have to develop. And I'm not saying y'all got to do this thing just because I say it overnight. But I'm saying you got to do this thing just because I say it. You got to develop into it gradually. You got to really learn to trust each other. Because we have a community here. What is a community without trust? That's what these little dinners is all about. We're building something from its conception. Read on, please. Let's see how Abraham did his thing.
And he made his way to Aram Naharaim, to the city of Nahor. Verse 11.
He made his way to where?
Aram Naharaim.
Is that supposed to be Mesopotamia?
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Mesopotamia? What you say, Nancy?
That's what
He said it wrong, but yes.
Okay. Mesopotamia. Anybody know what Mesopotamia is? See, this is the place where Abraham came from. Mesopotamia. The Mesopotamia, I believe, is something like the land between two rivers. Somewhere in that area. They had 7 principal deities that they worshiped. They were pagans. I'll wait till y'all finish. Let me know so we can move forward. They were pagans. What Abraham didn't want was his son to go back to practicing idolatry. So he said, don't let him go back to that land. Keep him away from there. That land was in ancient Sumer, Iraq, Iran, in that area. That region of the earth is called Mesopotamia. Okay? Mesopotamia is supposedly like the first civilization on the planet that we are aware of. Began in Mesopotamia about 6,000 years ago. Some people say around 4,500. The strongest I found was 6,000 years ago. 6,000 years ago. Way before Abraham. But these are the people that our forefathers were from. The originators of these things. But they practice idolatry. He says, don't let them go back to what? It ain't the physical people that's the problem. It's the spirit of the place. If you out of tune and out of connection with spiritual forces, you will never win this battle. Because you won't be able to recognize the different characteristics in people. They won't fool you because their words are smooth. Their sayings will begouge you. You'll be like, damn, Prince is all that. And Prince could be off by a long shot. If you don't recognize the energy from within, as I just got finished telling you about this bro right here, you got to be able to recognize how the Most High works with people to appreciate the value of an individual. Read on, please.
Verse 11. He made the camels kneel down by the well outside the city. At evening time, the time when women come out to draw water.
Now stop for a second. This man was raised up for years in Abraham's house. Do you think he learned the ways of Abraham? He was a servant of Abraham and had no problem admitting that I'm Abraham's servant. He learned the ways of Abraham. So when he get here, like Nasik Rav stood up here and mentioned, the very first thing he did was what? He prayed to the Father for guidance, but for a sign. I wanted to capitalize on this sign for y'all, because this is putting incredible strength or trust in the Almighty when you ask for a sign. Anything that you do that's pertinent to your life, you ask the Creator for a sign for. And if you right, the Most High will give you your sign. If He doesn't give you a sign, then just don't do what it is that you asked for the sign for to do. Because it may be that He doesn't want you to do a particular thing. So this man comes before Him and before the Almighty and prays to the Most High for a sign. He didn't ask for any old thing. He said for something particular. He said, let him go to my father and ask my father for my hand. Something particular. By this sign you will know that the Most High is in the midst of this thing. What happens is we move out too much on our own because we sit back and we think we got the key to something. It may look clear. It may look obvious to you. But I promise you, family, it's best to go before the Almighty first and then start thinking. Let Him put the Spirit on you. Ask for a sign. Father, if this is such and such, give me a sign and let me know. And if it's not, let me know. This is what he did. Read on, please, and let's see what takes place.
Verse 12. And he said, O Lord, God of my master Abraham.
Whoa. This is a grown man talking. Did y'all watch how he approached the Most High? He said, Creator, the power of my master Abraham. So whoever Abraham is serving, that's who I'm talking to. No arrogance, no pride, humility as he approached them to the Most High King. The power of a man who has provided for him. Read on. Watch what he says. See, hold, before you move on. It takes a lot for a man to have that kind of respect for another man. That ain't something you just do just because. Because he got a couple of dollars. Or he got a nice car. Or a nice house. He got a fine women. That ain't why you do this. You do this because you see the works of the Almighty within him. You see what the Most High has done in his life. You see how he shows loyalty to the Creator. This causes you to be honorable with this individual. You follow what I'm saying, family? Read on, please. Let's watch this.
Grant me good fortune this day, and deal graciously with my master Abram. Here I stand by the spring as the daughters of the townsmen come out to draw water. Let the maiden to whom I say, please lower your jar that I may drink, and who replies, drink, and I will also water your camels. Let her be the one whom you have decreed for your servant Isaac.
Did anybody hear what just took place? Tell me what we just said. Read, stand up, please, as a man. Stand up. Speak loudly and strong. Say it with your chest.
So basically what he was saying, he said the one that is willing to give you water and your camels water, that's the one you should take for Isaac's wife.
He asking the Most High to send him that kind of woman, right?
Yes.
Does anybody see why he would have... Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful response. And I'm glad you're on page with us. It's very important. Does anybody know why he made that prayer or that request? It wasn't just that he wanted a sign, that he wanted the Most High to pick the individual.
Because he wanted a wife that wasn't lazy.
I like that one.
A certain type of woman.
There you go. He wanted a certain type of woman. Just don't nobody want no rebellious and lazy woman.
That's right.
Don't nobody want no woman that ain't gonna do her part in being with her man and honoring him. She honored a complete stranger. Not only did she honor a complete stranger, she honored his animals and all the men that was with. That is a remarkable woman. Yeah, it is.
Drink a lot.
She put it in. Y'all gotta think. No, y'all just read stuff and let it pass over your head. You don't see the deepness in it, the seriousness in it. It means a lot. A complete stranger. He's saying, let this complete stranger walk up to me and see that I have a need and be willing to meet my need. Guess what she's going to do? She's going to exceed past his request. Now, sisters, are you like that? Are you that kind of woman? So a complete stranger, you see, he's at the family member, a new brother or sister come to the house of Goshen on the Shabbat day. You go out of your way to make sure that they got everything that they need. A place to stay, food to eat, water to drink, a place to bathe. Do you make sure? Or do you say, I don't really know that brother like that, you know?
That's one thing we got down pat.
Say it out, say it.
That's one thing we got down pat.
What we got down pat?
Making sure that people are good when they come.
All right. Now, Zeke said we got it down pat. We make sure people are good when they come.
That's right.
Okay. All right. These are the signs of men of honor. These are the signs of women of honor. These are the signs that when the Most High is working with you, you can see it through your actions. So in essence, he's asking for a particular type of woman. Less of a struggle. Less argumentative. You know, sisters, I want to say something before I move on. If your man says something disrespectful to you in the presence of the rest of the family, right? What do you do?
I would cry.
You'll cry? Okay, what would you do, sis?
What's up,
What would you do, sis?
That's wrong.
Sis? What would you do?
I wouldn't say anything.
You wouldn't say anything?
Not right there.
What would you do?
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything.
What would you do?
Oh, I would just say thanks.
Okay. I pray that none of y'all have lied to me.
And what?
Lied. I pray that none of y'all have told me a fib. And I say this because you will be tested with this very thing. There will be times where your man will lose his mind and do something real stupid, like say something disrespectful to you in the presence of others. It takes a strong woman to recognize that my man has lost his mind and remain in control of her spirit. I mean, I hope y'all hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because first of all, no honorable man is going to disrespect his woman in the presence of others. Not intentionally. He might make a mistake. That's what I mean by he lost his mind. He's going to honor his woman. He will never come out of his mouth and say anything to put her on a spot that's going to be embarrassing in front of other people at any time. To make her have to think how she's going to approach that situation. And if your man does that, I would suggest you maintain your position as a wife, as a virtuous wife. Wait till you get in the car, or wait till you get home, or wait till you walk into the car, and respectfully, words are very important, respectfully approach your husband and say, my Lord, why did you act like that? Why did you treat me like that? Why did you talk to me? Why did you embarrass me like that? This is the type of woman that he had to get for his bastard son. A woman who knew her place and how to conduct her place and how to exercise her right and her roles without getting to be nasty and bent out of shape and disrespectful and arrogant and acting like she's single. This lesson is deep when you really read it, man. It's deep. Read on, please. Let's go.
Thereby shall I know
Was somebody laughing?
Bless you.
I know.
Thereby shall I know.
Wait a minute, I think the fever hit her. We in church. Hold on. She gotta let that ghost go. You with me, sis? Read on, please. You know I couldn't let that by. I'm gonna let that by. Can't let that slide. I gotta get on that. Go ahead, wake somebody up with that joke. Read on, please.
Thereby shall I know that you have dealt graciously with my master.
Wait a minute. He said, thereby will I know that you have dealt graciously with my master. What master is he talking about?
Abraham.
How do we know? Because Isaac is his master also. Pay attention. It's deep, man. You got to really watch what's taking place. And when you allow your spirit to guide you and to lead you, certain things you'll have understanding on. Read on, please.
Verse 15. He had scarcely finished speaking when Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor, came out with her jar on her shoulder.
He didn't even finish speaking yet. And what he requested happened. Almost immediately. Read on, please, because I know only got like 30, 40 minutes left. So go ahead. Hurry up so we can run down the road. Don't y'all be doing this to me. Go ahead, Al.
The maiden was very beautiful, a virgin.
Ho! The maiden was what?
Beautiful.
And what?
A virgin.
I don't remember that much. Isaac was too.
That's
Isaac
right.
was too.
Right.
Stay virtuous.
What we talking about, family?
Virginity.
And honor. Integrity. See, you have a certain accountability as well as she does.
That's right. That's right.
But most importantly, sisters, you have to keep yourself a certain way. And it ain't the ways of the world. Because the ways of the world, a girl 8, 9 years old losing her virginity.
That's facts.
12 years old pregnant. And it's a big thing for them. You ain't nothing if you ain't getting a little bit. She was a special kind of a woman. She possessed a certain spirit upon her. And the Most High brought her to her destiny. You understand? She was a virgin. She was a young woman. She kept herself from a man. So if a man was to come into her life, how was he to come? Talk to her father. That's how he came. By talking to her father. Read on. See, that's what honorable people, that's how honorable people get down. We don't, oh man, I like you, you pretty. What's up, shorty? What's your name? What's your phone number? Where you live? All right, I'm going to see about that later on, all right? Y'all know how we do. That's evil. It's so evil you don't even know it's evil. Read on, let's get through this, please.
A virgin whom no man had known.
Now, let me say something else before we move on. Y'all got to watch how, let me put it this way. I would like for y'all to observe how there was no lust involved when she made that decision to become that man's wife. There was no lust, what we call love today. There was no lust involved. Oh, I like her eyes. I like her rear end. I like her chubby chest. Y'all was supposed to laugh at that part. None of that was involved. Well, I like the way he looked. He looked strong. He looked tall. None of that was involved. But she decided that I'm willing to go. An honorable move. All that other stuff develops later. So I'm telling this to y'all, family, because you can't always look for the attractive girl and think that this is going to be the mate for you. A lot of times, them attractive ones, when they're too attractive, they got too many problems. Not always. Not always. There are a lot of them that's good. But usually, when you let the wrong spirit guide you, you end up with the wrong woman. You understand? Read on, please.
She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up. The servant ran toward her and said, "Please let me sip a little water from your jar."
So he tested her. He said, "Is this the one?" He said, "Let me see. Can I get a little bit of that water?" Read on.
"Drink, my lord," she said. And she quickly lowered her jar upon her hand and let him drink. When she had let him drink his fill, she said, "I will also draw for your camels until they finish drinking."
She didn't just give him a little bit of water. She let him drink till he was satisfied. Till he was done. And then she turned from feeding him water and turned to his camels and his men and gave all them water too. And watch how it goes. Read on, please.
Quickly emptying her jars into the trough, she ran back to the well to draw.
She went and did this. You remember when Moses was showing off? He went to the well, he drew the water. It was work. He poured the water up, he carried the water, he was showing off. She did this. Now, a lot of men take these type of scriptures and say that the woman should be out working for the family. A lot of men do this. A lot of men teach this type of stuff. And they use scriptures like this to support it, to back it up. Who sent this man to go and get this wife? Did Abraham go to Sarah and say, "Sarah, I need the money to go give to such and such"? Did the Most High bless Sarah to be wealthy to provide for that family? Who the Most High blessed? Abraham, the man of the house. Remember, men, it's your job to provide for your family.
That's right.
This is the way you got to grow up. Do what you got to do if it means humbling yourself. But you do your job. You understand? A lot of men today, they feel like the more nashim I have, the more income I can have because I put them women to work. And they'll go out and work and provide for us and we'll be cool. And it's not righteous. In Exodus, the 21st chapter, the Most High speaks about a man taking a wife, a serving wife. Now after he takes this wife, if he decides he wants to go get another wife, the first wife, everything that he provided, her food, her raiment, and I think it's her clothes or something.
Conjugal rights.
Conjugal rights. Those things cannot cease. That means that man has to still provide for that family. He still had to provide for that family if he went and took another wife. He can't, huh? If a man takes a wife and she's accustomed to a certain lifestyle because it's his responsibility to provide, and he decides one day, I want to get me another wife. Everything that lifestyle required for that man that he was accustomed to providing for that woman, it had to continue. He couldn't change it. He couldn't even slack in it. He had to be strong enough financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. These are the things that we greedy men, we leave out of the picture when we think about taking a wife, let alone a second wife. We leave these things out of the picture. But these things are most important. So if he decides to take another wife, he has to be able to provide these things for the first wife, just as he did in sum total prior to taking another wife. But the Most High lays down at least 3 things that he is mandatory to provide. And I believe it's food, clothing, and conjugal rights. Sexual intercourse. You can't deprive her of that. You might ration it out, but you got to give it to her. Because it will drive a person wild.
Yeah.
That's right. It will destroy
Should
you.
be mean.
That's why we have a saying in Israel. Well, Israel don't know about it. A lot of people disagree. But an unmarried woman is ugly. And a married woman is beautiful. That doesn't mean that all marriages are perfect or even that all marriages are working out. It means that a married woman is beautiful and an unmarried woman is ugly. You figure it out. Okay?
So you don't look at other ones.
You figure it out. Read on, please.
The man, meanwhile, stood gazing at her. Verse 21. Silently wondering whether Yahuwah had made his errand successful or not. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold nose ring weighing a half a shekel.
Ain't no broke man getting ready to get down like this. But you brothers talking about y'all want a wife.
Or two.
I want 2, 3, or 4. Let's say 1. A lot of brothers coming off saying, I want a wife, and ain't able, ain't ready, mentally, emotionally. Because listen, it goes far beyond what you're able to provide financially. A woman with children, let's say she ain't got no children, and you give her children. Do you know how much work it is raising one child? Let's say a toddler. I'm talking, just say a toddler, one toddler for a woman. You know how much work it is to raise one child? Sometimes that sister needs a break. What type of mind state is the man? That the man gonna say, you know what, babe? You go ahead and do that. Sit over there and chill. I got you. I'll help out. I'll do. Some people think it ain't macho to help out your woman. Some men feel like, oh no, that's her job. She gonna do it, and I'm gonna do what I choose to do. Wrong. That's not righteousness. You don't put burdens on your wife, especially when she's raising a child, let alone she got 2 or 3, and she's trying to do it the best she can. Give her a break sometime. When her need come on, let her separate from those responsibilities, and brothers, you step in and take the plate.
Amen.
You cook that food. You let her go to herself. This brother laughing. You cook that food, brothers. You make the dinner for the family.
Amen.
You watch the babies. You wipe their rear end and change their pampers. You try doing that and you'll appreciate your wife so much more. What I suggest to you, family, is that we pay attention to the laws. The Creator put that law in place for a woman when she on the need out for a reason. It's to give her a break. Brothers, all I'm suggesting is that you don't leave all the responsibilities on your Isha and act like you too macho to help out around the house.
That's right.
I ain't watching them kids. Oh, shoot. That's your job. You do it. I'm going out to play ball with my homie. That's not right. That's both of your responsibility. And no righteous man would conduct his household in that fashion. I'm telling you, young brother, so that when you grow up strong and right and righteous. Read on, please.
Verse 23. Pray tell me, he said, whose daughter are you?
Oh, you are remarkable, sis. Who is your father? See, when he find out whose daughter she is, that's going to let him know how they raised her, whether they did a good job. Same thing with y'all young men today. When you come into a woman's family, they will see the type of character, especially if the father got eyes, he's going to look. And he's going to see certain traits and characteristics about you. If you walk into this man's house after your father and say, yeah, my son can marry your daughter, and you go to meet her for the first time, your pants hanging down here, you got slides on your feet, he talking about, shalom. If that man got any sense, he gonna get them out of my house, if he got any sense. But if you go to this man's house and you garbed up with your kippah on, your fringes on, your pants up around your waist, if you dress appropriately, he wouldn't even know if your pants are around your waist because your ketona would be long enough to cover all that. Got some shoes on your feet rather than them slides, and you slightly greet him when you come to this house. You say, shalom, Zakane, Zekena, shalom. My name is such and such, and when you pronounce yourself, you say, Ben, son of whoever you are. That man almost can't say no, because the people that raised you did their job well. And you understand what honor and loyalty is all about. And the chances of a man having that type of character and destroying the life of his daughter is almost impossible. Because that man will understand his job, his responsibility, his role. He knows what he's supposed to do because he has examples to look at how to be a man. You understand? When real men are in your midst, you must appreciate it. You must take advantage of it. And what the Most High say, you grab the hem of the skirt of a man of the Most High, you grab his skirt and say, lead me to your maker. What do you think that means? That means imitate his ways. Imitate his characteristics, his traits, his behavior, those which are in the ways of righteousness. And again, you got to remember this, family. No man is perfect. So that won't mean that this man doesn't have any errors or faults. He don't have to be 100% perfect. Not even Moses was perfect, but he did a job. And he did it well. And if you could just imitate the ways of Moses, you will be well. There are a lot of things about Moses that you pay not attention to. One thing was that when he met his father-in-law, he greeted him with a kiss of honor. That showed you the type of mind state that Moshe had. He was an honorable man. Our father Abraham, when his wife had an objection and she wanted to say what she wanted to say, he could have said, shut up, sit down, be quiet, smack. Did he do that? No. He didn't. He didn't even want to listen. The Most High said, boy, listen to her, because she's right. It's a way that you handle a woman. And if you have not learned that way, then you need to learn it. And it's not with aggression. You don't meet the most precious thing that the Most High blessed you with in your life with aggression. You meet it with humility and wisdom. Humility and wisdom. And that woman will serve you all of her days. But if you want to beat and be aggressive, she might not say it, but she can't wait for the day to get away from you. She will silently wait for the day to run far from you. Her heart can never really be towards you if you're this type of man. She might act and fake and pretend for the people, but it ain't real. It ain't true. Hold your mouth. A lot of times they give you a lot of mouth because they don't respect you. They don't respect you because you don't give them nothing to respect. You got to give them something to respect. And if you keep coughing every time I try to teach, I'm going to shut up. She's saying, shut up, Prince, but trying to cover it up. Y'all hear? Just shut up right there. Trying to make it like it was a sneeze. She tired of me talking. She's saying, shut up. Nah, she ain't doing that. Sister, I know you're with me. And I appreciate you for being with me. I really hope that you all can understand the lesson that I'm trying to bring forward. I'm trying to show men how to be men. Because you young men, you are our future. You young women, y'all are our future. And the older women and men that are here, y'all are our present. So how we create our future to go forward is how we deal with our present. Nobody here is perfect. None of us are without errors. But if we all work together, we can uplift each other and take each other to the next level of understanding. Okay? Are there any questions? I'm going to stop it here because I know I done burned out my last 5 minutes 10 minutes ago. So I thank you all. I honestly do in my soul. I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this day. And I thank you for being honorable and respectable to little old me, you know, as I try to give the energy that I have, a portion of it, to you, to possess you, so that as you go through life, you can learn some of these things from these lessons and make it to become great in your life. May the Most High be praised. To the Lord.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Before we ask the brother Yael to say a prayer, we see in this portion he spent a lot of time talking about the virtues of Rebecca, right?
Yeah.
But in real life, oftentimes in order for you to get a Rebecca, you have to be an Isaac.
Right.
Right? If you remember the portion when Rebecca, as it ends out in that portion, when he was coming back with Rebecca and they saw Isaac in the field. Y'all remember what Isaac was doing in the field?
Pray, meditating.
He was praying. Nobody sent him to pray. He was already the type of mindset of somebody that was trying to seek the Most High God independently. If you believe the writings in the Apocrypha in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says that a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. So the absolute opposite, that we could conclude that in order for you to get a righteous woman, you have to be. So we can't be unrealistic and expect things that our hand didn't call for. Amen? You can't expect that you're going to find Rebecca at a strip club.
That's right.
Or with booty shorts at Dollar General.
That's right. And a weave in her head down the back.
Or with a halter top at Pizza Plus.
Or with a weave in her head down the back.
Y'all hear me?
That's right.
You might not find her on Tinder.
With a weave in her head.
You're not going to find her on Plenty of Fish. You can't swipe right on a Rebecca. Y'all not listening to me?
We listening. Speak.
All right. Because honestly, the way I was raised up, and you can kind of see it here, it was like always an unfair balance placed on a woman to be virtuous, right? But you can't have a whore without a whoremonger unless she's a lesbian.
That's right.
So every time you got a woman that's violating, you got a man that's violating, so the same amount of pressure that they put on the daughters, you got to know that same amount of pressure is on you. Amen?
That's right.
You got to be fair. Because at the same expectations that you would have of your daughter, you should have those same expectations of somebody else's daughter. Right? Like if you don't got a job, why are you talking about 2 wives, man?
There you go.
What you thinking about? What's your ambitions? What's your goal?
That's right.
Huh? If you never even pray before you pick up your phone in the morning, can you lead a family?
Oh, no.
Can you keep them on a righteous path?
There you go.
Huh? You might be biting off more than you can chew.
That's right.
I'm not saying don't have big dreams. I'm saying earn them. Amen? I'm not saying don't expect to have a righteous wife. I'm saying be deserving of the righteous wife.
That's right.
So you can keep them.
That's right.
Because believe it or not, in any relationship, everybody influences everybody. Right? So if you a little bit too wicked, you're going to make your wife a little bit more wicked than she was when she met you. Right? And if you righteous or she's righteous, that's going to influence it as well. So we have to be a little bit more deliberate. Amen?
That's right.
We have to be a little bit more strategic.
That's right.
You know? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Y'all know shit to put?
Hallelujah. 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 Praise the mighty Yah. Yah Elohim. Yah who created the heavens and the earth and the seas and all that is in them. We give thee thanks and praise, O Messiah. We say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
O Most High King, I give you thanks and praise, O foremost, for your own existence, O mighty Yah. I give you thanks and praise that you are who you say you are, and you will be who you say you will be. Torah for everything. Torah for life. We give you thanks and praise, Almighty King, for waking us up, for allowing us to know who we are as Israel, for allowing us, O Most High, to be able to call upon your great and holy name. I ask, O Most High, that you forgive me in any uncleanliness, O Most High King, in coming before you and calling upon your holy name, Yah. But we give you thanks and praise, O Most High King. We could only be grateful to you, Yah, for being merciful, compassion, and being long-suffering to us, O Most High King, who cannot get your laws, statutes, and commandments right. I give you thanks and praise, O Most High, Yah, for all and for everything that I have. I give you thanks and praise, O Most High King, for my family, for my Isha, for my children. Torah for life. Torah for all and for everything. I give you thanks and praise, O Most High, for the Shabbat day, for all Israel. I pray, O Most High King, that you will open up all the minds and the heart of the people, each and every person. I pray, O Most High, that you allow us to unite, true unity. I pray, O Most High, that you allow us to be able to understand what is right in your Torah and get rid of our opinions and do it the right way. I pray, O Most High, that you allow all of us to get rid of whatever we have on the inside of us that will not allow us to move forward in righteousness and unity. And allow us, O Most High, to come together in peace and harmony. And praise your holy name, O Most High. I pray for Israel to exercise the power of Yah and to do right, O Most High King. Give us the strength, the humility, the serenity, the wisdom, the understanding. Give us everything we need, O Most High King. I pray, O Most High King, that you remember Abraham, remember Yitzchak and Yaakov. Remember, O Yah, the covenant that you made with them. Please, O Yah, for your name's sake, for your glory and for your honor's sake, O Yah, I pray that you open up the hearts and the minds of the people, O Yah, and let us live, O Most High King, as Israel. Please, Yah, have mercy on all of us. Have mercy on me, Almighty King. I'm doing my very best. All praise, all glory unto the one and true holy power, Yah Elohim. Hallelujah.
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 We pay homage.
Pay homage
to the power of Abraham.
To the power of Abraham.
The power of Yitzchak.
To the power of Yitzchak.
The power of Israel.
To the power of Israel.
Hallelujah.
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 Yah, we praise you.
Yah, we praise you.
Yah, we honor you.
Yah, we honor you.
Yah, we glorify your name.
Yah, we glorify your
Yah, we
name.
give you thanks.
Yah, we give you thanks.
Hallelujah.
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 Praise the mighty Yah.
Praise the mighty God.